Everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. Today I am back with my final heritage layout for the month of October. I am going to be doing a 2-page layout and actually going to be using this cut file here. I wanted to, instead of backing the cut file, because that would be pretty tedious, I wanted to kind of give it a background with gesso, I guess, to kind of mute those flowers of the background paper just a little bit. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I kind of went overboard, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and I still like the outcome. For this 2-page layout, I am going to be using the Millie collection from Felicity Jane. I just love these colors. I love that kind of soft green and the light pink, and really, I don't know, thought it would be perfect to document my in law's wedding. And I realize that really their wedding probably was not far back enough to be considered heritage. However, it is for her album, and I guess the pictures are a little bit older than what I'm used to using, and so that is kind of why I'm categorizing it as a heritage layout. I end up gutting these 2 papers. I am going to border it. However, if you are not familiar with Felicity Jane, in their kits they do give you 2 solid colored pieces of paper. However, when I'm doing a 2-page layout, that doesn't allow me to use the same color to kind of border the layouts for each page. So what I decided to do, I kind of saw this maybe on Instagram. It was using pattern papers though. So what I decided to do was actually cut them so that the pink is on top and then the green is on bottom, and that's going to be the same way for page 1 and page 2. And I'm actually going to be scrapbooking page 2 first because I needed the gesso to dry. So I trimmed down that striped paper. That's going to be my main background paper, and then I'm going to use I think it's a 3-inch strip of that green paper on the one end, and I did not want it to carry over into the border, so that's why I'm kind of doing the layout before I glue it on the border. I knew that there was going to be some trimming to do, and it's just a lot easier to do if it's not taped down to the border already. So these are the 2 photos that I'm going to be using for page 2. One of them is them cutting their cake, and the other one is them popping champagne after the wedding. So I just had a lot of fun with this. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel a little bit of pressure because this is an important moment, and I just wanted to make sure that I got it right, I guess, if you know what I mean. So what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to, I don't know if back the photos is the right word. I wanted like a strip of this floral paper on the layout, but I wanted that striped paper to be able to show as well. And so you see that I kind of measured out the length of it based on where my photos are going to lie or lay. And so that's kind of how I decided what size this block, I'll call it, should be. And the Millie collection actually had a really pretty cupcake, and I know they're cutting cake, but I just thought it was so cute to include in this layout, so I'm going to kind of use that over top of that tag on the top, and then an XOXO, so that's going to be a cluster, and then this giant flower at the bottom with these kind of 2 tickets. One of them has a heart with XOs, and then the other one says chapter 1, and I just thought that was perfect because they were starting their future together on this day. So I thought about putting something in the top left and actually do, but I wanted to kind of figure out how page 1 was gonna flow before I embellished any further on page 2. So we go back to page 1. I am trimming this down because, again, it's going to be on the border that I had already taped together. When I placed the cut file down on the paper with the gesso, I wasn't thrilled. It was just a lot of white. I guess the flowers didn't pop through kind of as much as I expected. So what I did is I went and did the packaging technique with a couple colors of Distress Oxide. Learned my lesson though, because I did not let the blue dry before I did the pink, and they kind of mixed together. Luckily the colors are kind of faint or light and you can't really tell. Now that I'm looking actually at the photo I took of the layout, I can't really see that at all. But when I cut the 3-inch green strip there, I actually cut a 1-inch because I wanted to carry that over onto page 1 as well, just to kind of have the 2 pages kind of coordinate. I know I'm using the same collection, but just another way to kind of coordinate. So backing the photo with the same paper that I used on the second layout, but this time I'm actually using the light pink. So the solid colored paper that comes with the kits for Felicity Jane, they are like 2 tones. So one side is one color, the other side is like a darker color. And so you really get 4 colors of plain paper, which is nice. So I decided it was good enough, it was dry kind of enough, and so I was going to then place this down. I did not glue all of the flowers down. I did kind of want them to, I guess, kind of have some dimension of their own, and what I mean by that is if I glued them down, they're stuck, obviously, you know, and I wanted them to kind of almost fold up or just be loose, and kind of be able to move around. The photo, I did double back in that really pretty, those small floral paper. I popped that up on some foam tape and placed that over top of the rectangle in the cutout. And then I decided to bring in some gold. So I went into my stash and found my phrase stickers, and love the way, you know, I don't know, the gold and the phrase stickers also have some like gold leaves, and so I was like, great, I can use those then to incorporate gold into the layout further. That love actually came with the kit, however it said love you and it had a heart. So what I decided to do was fussy cut that, so it just, you know, the title now is Celebrate Love, and I really like the way that looks. It's a little, I don't want to say messy, but the U overlapped the love a little bit, so there was some green, so I had to really try to figure out how to cut it good enough, you know, that the green didn't really show. So here's where you can see that I incorporate some of that, those leaves in the cut file there to incorporate gold somewhere else in the layout. So I then decide that's pretty good. I think that's actually page 1 is almost done, and so I wanted just to go back to the love and cover up, I guess, where I had to cut it kind of extra short, I guess I'll say, where the rest of it has a nice white, oh man, I don't know, it's white around the edges, and where I had to cut it, it's not. So I wanted to kind of cover that up. But those 2 hearts are going to complete page 1. And then I went over to page 2 and added some gold leaves into each of those clusters, again, just to incorporate gold elsewhere, because it was on page 1. I wanted to include that. And then I go back to that top left and add this fun little banner and a heart that I pop up on some foam tape. And then this kind of journaling tag. I have been trying to leave an open spot for my mother-in-law to do a little bit of journaling, add the date in each of the layouts I make for her. And so that is the spot that I chose for that. And then I am just kind of incorporating a couple hearts into the layout, tucking those into each of the clusters. So that is going to finish off the layout. I hope you guys enjoy what you see, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.